You guys got to like and subscribe a little bit more before I start taking it off. All right, we're at Fit in Their Gym here in Castellón, Spain. And let me tell you, this is a beautiful place and you definitely have to come out and check it out. But for today, I'm gonna be doing something a little different. Here's why. Earlier today, we decided to go grab some food with the whole team. And we figured, well, we're gonna go grab some lunch. We had some awesome food, paella, like it was phenomenal. Had a little bit of sangria, which normally I would never advise to do, but when you're in, Spain, you gotta do what they do. So we did that and drove here like 20 minutes to the gym. Wifey comes in, is like, hey, do you have my fitness clothes? I was like, yeah, I got your clothes. And then I start digging in through this bag and my clothes are still at the hotel. But I did bring my shoes. So Birkenstocks stay here, Nikes are on here, and I've got exactly what I wore at lunch. And I'm just gonna go out here. There's no one really here. So that's what's awesome about this day, is that I get to do what I want, but I'm gonna be training in my normal casual clothes. So this is what I look like. This is my normal casual clothes. And I was a little bummed, I can't lie. Like, you have like this idea of like, what am I gonna train? I'm gonna be training in a gym that has everything from Panada, like all my favorite equipment, and he does. And I thought I was gonna train some chest because today was gonna be chest day. Here it is Saturday and the gym's already ready to rock and roll. And I was, like I said, I was a little bummed out by it, but I realized, Phil, being gratitude, you have a full gym and you do have clothes. And if you want, you can take your shirt off and do whatever the fuck you want. So I'm gonna do a little bit of everything. I'm gonna call this a touch-up day where I'm just gonna, so whatever I see, I'm gonna lift. If I wanna do legs, I'm gonna do a little bit of legs. If I wanna do back, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just be a kid in a freaking candy store because this gym is all reserved for yours truly. So let's go get it. Okay. One of the things I like to do, especially when I'm training, is to make sure that I can find where the clock is. Since I don't wear a watch and I don't have my phone on me, I like to look at how much time I have in between sets. So typically it's around 60 seconds. That way I can get more volume in. And it doesn't matter even if I'm training heavy. I've done that throughout my entire career, 1 to 2 minutes maximum, even on leg days. Always think about in these initial sets of a workout, what's tight. And right now I can tell like this shoulder definitely needs some freaking work when I get home back in, I was gonna say Colorado, back in Michigan. I'm always aware of like soft tissue injuries because you start messing around and traveling too much like I have been, sleeping on different hotel beds, being in vans, driving around, sleeping like this, stuff gets messed up. So you always wanna take your time on these first couple sets. That's why they're called warm-ups. They give you some good data. So I can go fast and I can notice that this is pulling a little bit. So I wanna be a little bit more mindful, get a little bit more controlled. So every workout you're doing, not always gonna have like a personal best, but when you're being mindful of what you're doing, you think, okay, as I'm pulling down, even with this shoulder kind of acting up a little bit, I can still pull down with these elbows, get a really good contraction. At first I was going all the way up and getting a good stretch and I was coming all the way down. And I realized if I can come right about here and then squeeze these lats, you can tell I'm breathing hard, which is what I want. All right. The other big thing we always have to be mindful of is water. Can't stress this enough. Not staying hydrated. Soft tissue injuries are going to happen. A lot of the time, most of us have those little micro tears just because we're not hydrated. And when people are taking lots of caffeine, and a lot of people have a lot of high stem products going through their system, and God knows what else you guys are taking. I generally like to keep my range under 250 milligrams of caffeine. That way, it's not a vasoconstrictor, it's a vasodilator with all the different components that my new supplement company, 7X Labs, has. We actually finalized the formulation while we're on this trip. So now it's just going through the picking of flavors. And we've been doing that virtually with our team. Obviously, when you're training triceps, you want to make sure that the contraction at the bottom is the most important thing. Usually don't like leaning too hard on this thing and have my elbows flared out. Elbows flared out to me, yes, I can feel it, but I like to keep my elbows pretty tucked in, like this. Guess I did like 2 sets right there. So for today, I'm looking at the time right now. It is 1900. So what's that? 7. Man. So typically my workouts range in between like 60, 70 minutes. Within that time period, I could probably get 25 sets of various things. So obviously I'm doing upper body right now. I might finish with just like some leg extensions, some leg press, some calves. Gotta train the calves, guys. I can already feel a pump right now. That was probably from all the paella we ate and bread. It's always good to carb load, right? And that paella definitely had sodium in it, so that's gonna really make everything pop, and especially with my pre-workout. If you want to make this a little bit more challenging, you can hold each rep and squeeze at the bottom. Generally speaking, I like to get 3 to 4 working sets on anything. There are certain exercises where I want to get a little bit more attention. Those are usually like weaker body parts. So if I'm trying to work on just like one arm, like this arm happens to be like about a 1/4 inch smaller than this one, I might get like a few more reps on this side. So for those people that are having those imbalances, that's where you change from this to like a D handle and then go after that. Or you can just lighten up the weight and just use this. You guys gotta like and subscribe a little bit more before I start taking it off. I might switch up and go to the machine in front of me. It has a different type of attachment, but before I do that, I'm gonna do one more set here just to kind of figure out my form. I notice as I'm pulling, I'm kind of pulling like this. I want to keep it low. So even though I want to do something like that, the handle may not allow me to. That's why it's always good to play around with the weight and see what you can manage, and also play around with these different handles. We're all different, guys, so that's the beauty of being in a gym, especially one that's not really occupied. Quite frankly, that's what helped me win all those Olympias. It's because I was in an empty gym. Shout out to Armbrust, Dylan Armbrust at Armbrust Pro Gym. Had a whole place to myself. The only difference was I didn't have Panata. If I had Panata equipment during my Olympia reign, I don't know if I would have won more Sandals, but I can definitely tell you, I would have been even a better bodybuilder. Some people are like, what? I'm telling you. It's like driving a Ferrari. Who doesn't like Ferrari? Yeah, there it is. So I'm keeping my lower back tight, and even as I'm pulling, allowing it to pull me forward, I'm keeping my chest up. There it is. Sometimes you want to round out, but for this one, for me, I want to keep my head up. Solve my own damn problem right there. And see, that's what's really important, is that you take your time. Before, I was like, oh, I'm going to move to another machine, do a different handle. It wasn't the handle, it was my own body mechanics. So that's where you got to be a student of yourself. What did I do? It's like, let me keep my lower back tight. And as I did that, my chest came up. Okay, fine. Now, instead of leaning forward, no matter what, even if I lean forward a little bit, where's my chest? It's not down like right here. Still keeping it up. Boom. Pulling them elbows back. So even in between sets, I'm thinking, pull my elbows back and see how that feels. And that's that good squeeze that you want. Be no different like if you're doing curls. And even as you're doing that, supinating the wrist, you know where that sweet spot is. I've said it a million times. Weight training is all about finding that sweet spot where you can find the contraction. And then once you find that through like a warm-up set, then you add a little bit more weight. But the goal is to keep that form, keep that technique, maybe increase the time under tension with a little bit more resistance. I could probably start with the 20s, which are, what, 45 pounds? But why? I'm trying to collect data to figure out what's working, what's contracting, what isn't, because there's no reason of rushing into something and getting freaking hurt. See, a lot of people do that. Maybe because they want to get that video clip. But for me, it's all about refinement and doing things the right way. And so far, that's kept me relatively healthy. I think I have the best arms in the world for someone that can use 12 kilo dumbbells. I think so. All right, so recently I just saw the Olympia have, which I thought was really cool, 3 champions. Derek Lunsford, Samson Dowda, and Brandon Curry. They all trained together, and I thought that was really neat. I didn't watch the whole video, I just saw a reel, and they were measuring arms. And I was like, not bad. Not bad at all. I know mine are fucking better though. So why not lift some freaking weights? And prove it. And prove that this older guy still has it, as it never left. Real arms. Real ones. They know I'm screwing with them. But as you guys know, I do the live stream for the Olympia. And I really enjoy that. I enjoy doing live stream. But what I really love doing is training arms, just like you guys do. But I love the fact that as I train arms, I know the quality is there. The shoulders are still striated. The tricep, brachialis. I call that a Heath-cep. Actually, I didn't call it that. I was in Barbados years ago, and they called it that. They're like, that's a Heath-cep. We call it the Heath-cep. So yeah, you got the Heath-cep, you got the tricep, you got the bicep. But the coolest thing is when you can see the fibers. When you can go like that, and you can see it. I don't know. I think my arms are 23 maybe, but in shape. And when I say in shape, you see the striations, you see the fibers. And these are the movements that I use still to this day that are gonna deliver real muscle. Real muscle. What's real muscle? Not inflamed muscle. Muscle that has separation. Muscle that has striations in it. Muscle that you see freaking move. Thinness of the skin. Stuff like that. That's what you want, guys and girls, when you're in here training, especially for people that are competing. How do you get it? Have an intentional focus with what you're doing, making sure that you're keeping your body fat fairly low. When I say fairly low, I'm probably at like 10%. I carry a majority of my body fat in my ass, water, inflammation in the face and the stomach. That's usually, like if I was getting ready for a show, the glutes and the hamstrings are very difficult. But that's why, if you look up there, my wife's actually up there. She's on the treadmill, and I'd be right up there with her on the incline tread, doing the bike, or especially doing the step mill. All right, so I guess not having my gym clothes worked out after all. What do you think, Eugene? I think we got it done.